Good evening, everyone, and welcome into tonight's contest between the Race City Bootleggers and your Queen City Corndogs. I'm Jonah Weintraub, happy to be bringing you tonight's contest. And these two teams met just 24 hours ago, in which the Corndogs came out with an 11-1 victory here at the Friar to get their second win in 2 games. Now looking to extend that winning streak to 3 against a team that they handled business against last night. But don't just assume that the Bootleggers will go down easily, as we have a lovely rematch on our hands on a lovely night here in South Charlotte. We have number 20, Tyler Hall, on the mound for the Corndogs to start things off, as they'll be pitching in the first inning, starting things off. And we'll get through the starting lineup as well. In left field, we've got Cannon Pierce, we've got Caleb Singleton in center, and Dylan Lewis in right field. Then at first base, we have Will Budnick. At second base, we have Garrett Sanner. At shortstop, we have Dave Mosry. And at third base, we have Harrison Wilson. Then in the catcher position, we have Harrison Boudelet. And then 2 designated hitters, well, designated and an extra hitter with Tyler Cotto and Michael Royston. Should be a fantastic game once again between these two foes that learned a bit about each other last night, but as they say, beating a team one time is hard enough, beating them twice even harder. We'll see what the Corndogs bring out today, as game action is just moments away here from the Friar. We'll be right back for first pitch here in Queen City Corndogs' third game of the 2023 summer season. All right, let's start things off here and play some baseball. It's a beautiful night in South Charlotte, as we mentioned earlier, with Tyler Hall on the mound, and he winds up for the first pitch of the game, and that one is high and inside for ball 1. Up at bat right now for the Bootleggers is number 23, Michael Carroll. Carroll's in center field tonight for Race City. Takes the ball on that first pitch and looks this one in, and that will be a strike for Hall, who has had some game action. He played in the opener for the Corndogs against High Point Thomasville, and Hall had some success in that game, as that pitch is outside for ball 2. Hall had 1 strikeout and went 3 up, 3 down in the 7th inning in what was a team effort to beat the High Toms early in the season, and umpire at first base says that the batter checked right there and was unable to check, so Carroll now at a 2-2 count. And that one is high for a full count, so Hall and Carroll going to the distance at his first at-bat to start things off here in the rematch between the Bootleggers and the Corndogs, and that'll be low for ball 4, so the first base runner of the night for Race City, as number 7, Dallas Allen, steps up to the plate.
Now batting right fielder number 7, Dallas Allen.
A little bit more about Tyler Hall as he starts tonight for the Corndogs, going into his senior year at Lander University, as that one is right down the middle for a strike. Looked like Allen was maybe trying to lay the bunt right there. Retreated out of the batter's box, makes it 0-1 count. Hall from Waxhaw, North Carolina, just a little bit outside, as that ball is just a little bit outside and bounces almost back into play. That was, the camera doesn't get that, but that one bounced out of play, then off the road and back into the field almost. So still 0-2 count against Allen, runner on first. And he's going to go, the runner on first. And Boudelet, the catcher, won't be able to get that one off. Slipped out of his hand. So Michael Carroll advances to second with ease. Makes it a 1-2 count now, and Allen back in the box. Hall just outside. Make it a 2-2 count again. The Bootleggers lost 11-1 last night against this Queen City team, and it wasn't pretty for most of the game, but they did pick things up a little bit towards the end with a run late in the game, as that one looks like it might have been just Well, it's strike three, but Bootleggers dropped it nevertheless. Gets the guy out at first. So 1 out now, but Michael Carroll does find his way to third base, so some good base running right there by the leadoff for the Bootleggers. And now a great opportunity for Jimmy Rosenberg as he steps up to the plate. The 3-hole for the Bootleggers, number 12. That pitch just a bit low, make it ball one. Tyler Hall, as we mentioned, got 1 inning of work against the High Toms in the season opener for the Corndogs, a game in which tons of pitchers saw the field, and that one fouled out to the right. Make it 1-1 count. Hall was really fantastic in that game, in which he went, as we mentioned, 3 up and 3 down. Did it with ease and was a big key contributor in that pitching staff as a reason why they were able to beat the High Toms. Is another foul ball, this time to the left, so make it a 1-2 count now. Hall looking to get his first punch out of the inning. And another foul ball, so staying alive right there is number 12, Rosenmalt. 1-2 count still. Runner still at third. Bootleggers looking to try to get a little bit of revenge from that blowout loss last night. As Hall winds this one up, and that one is up high, and another full count. So these batters for the Bootleggers in the top of the lineup testing Hall early here on the weekend home opener for the Corndogs, as last night's game was a little bit of a preview. This is the marquee matchup as another foul, so a great job right there by Rosenmalt staying alive. Another foul, so Rosenmalt absolutely giving all he can to stay up at the plate, and he's given Hall a big challenge right now. We'll see who comes out on top in what's been a lengthy at-bat here, getting a lot of pitches out of Hall. Hall winds this one up, and that is yet again another foul, so little smile right there from Rosenmalt. You can see that he knows he's making contact, just got to get the barrel on the ball. A nice chance here early in the top of the first for the Bootleggers to get on the board after it took them nearly the entire game to do so last night, and a fantastic at-bat. Getting runners on the corners now are the Bootleggers as Race City's Brian Clark steps up to the plate, number 25 for the Bootleggers. Well, actually not stepping up to the plate, has a chat with his manager.
Now batting the shortstop, number 25, Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark with 1 out, runners on the corners, has some room to work with, so we'll see what he can do up at the plate right now. Hall getting a little bit tested early by this Bootleggers lineup as Hall almost got the runner out at first. Rosenmalt was leaning up ahead. And Rosenmalt trying to get to second. And again, Bootleggers, that one just pops out of his glove and unable to make the throw. So now 2 runners in scoring position for the Bootleggers. As with 1 out, Race City getting off to a nice start after what was a really disastrous start to the game yesterday, as that one is popped up to center field. We'll see if Singleton can get there, and it's actually caught by Masri, the shortstop, and he's going to try to gun it home, and he is unable to. great play by Masri to make that catch. A difficult one right in between the shortstop and the center fielder, Caleb Singleton. But nevertheless, that's the first run of the game here in the top of the first for the Bootleggers.
Now at the plate for Ray City, the catcher number 6, Eli Sangras.
And now, with 2 outs and a runner still at second, Eli Sandgrass up at plate for the Bootleggers. Number 6, he's playing at first at the catcher position today, and Sandgrass fouls that one far and back. One nothing lead early for the Bootleggers. 1 run in the top of the first after not scoring their first run until the 7th inning, actually, in that game last night, in which the Corndogs got out to a great lead. Obviously, Queen City hasn't been on offense yet, so we'll see what's to come from that. But an 0-2 count here with a chance to end the inning with a little bit less damage done, as that one is high, secured by the catcher Bootleggers. Runner at second, giving a little bit of a lead. Nothing crazy there as the 1-2 count now. Hall looks to finish this inning out in style and unable to do so. These Bootleggers batters have been having nice presence in the box early on. A lot of foul balls, seeing the pitch zone, the strike zone well, that is. Giving Corndogs all they can handle here in the top of the first. Hall gets the swing, and that one is going to go just in front of Hall. And can he get it to first base in time? And no, and Hall skies that one over the head of the first baseman, and that will bring home a runner, make it 2-0 Bootleggers, as number 12, Jimmy Rosengrant, gets in at home and gives the Bootleggers more runs in 1/2 inning than they had an entire game in which they got mercy ruled last night. So a great start here for Ray City, making some adjustments early from yesterday's defeat. And now up to bat is Trey Heilman, number 33, one of the extra hitters playing for this Bootleggers team tonight. For those of you unaware, in summer ball for the SCBL, there is a permitted extra hitter, so try to get these guys as much run as they can in their off season. And now with a runner on first. Watch that one go inside and just outside of the zone, make it a 1-0 count against Heilman. Sandgrass with the lead at first, as that one is in for a strike, so 1-1 count now. Corndogs looking to get that final out of the inning. It's not been the prettiest inning. In fact, the Corndogs have only allowed 2 runs in 2 games thus far, and now have 2 runs just in this top inning. And a steal right there. We'll see if it's going to get there in time. And the throw from Bootleggers just goes through the legs of the second baseman, Garrett Sanner. Unable to get there in time. Now we have a situation with another running and scoring position for the Bootleggers, who look like a different team this time out. That pitch is in for a strike, and now Tyler Hall just 1 out away, 1 strike away from getting Corndogs up to bat with only a 2-0 deficit after what's been a semi-lackluster inning from the Corndog standards after they got out hot yesterday. And that one is not going to be a strike, so yet again another full count, the 3rd of the inning for the Corndogs and Tyler Hall. Hall, who only saw 3 batters in his 1 inning of action against the High Toms earlier in the week. As this one comes our way, watch out, fans. And a little commotion behind me in the bleachers. Looks like everybody's okay. Hall looking now to close this inning out beams that one in and low, and another walk. So Heilman will work his way to first base now with runners on first and second. Yet again, as number 34, Brandon Johnson, who's playing first base for the Corndogs, will come up to hit, but not before lead skipper for the Corndogs, Jeff Pluto, will come out to talk with Tyler Hall in the infield. So we'll be right back for the remainder of the top of the first inning when Tyler Hall gets back on the mound after a conversation with the manager. You're watching Corndogs Baseball here with Jonah Weintraub. Happy to have you, and sit back and welcome back to Corndogs Baseball. Just a quick little break there as Tyler Hall and the infield wanted to go over, had to just get this final out and escape the inning as that pitch is low to the inside for number 34, Brandon Johnson, who's up at bat. Hall having a bit of a tough time out here to start off this first inning, giving up 2 runs. The rising senior at Lander University, 6'2", 205. As stoppage right here. Looks like the bullpen is already starting to get going for the Corndogs, though they do use pitching by committee, or at least early in the season they have, so not a surprise to see that some of those guys are warming up regardless of Hall's performance, as now with a 1-0 count, Johnson watches that one go in, and the off-speed gets him right there. Make it a 1-1 count now. Still runners at first and second. Big opportunity for the Bootleggers to extend this 2-0 lead after only mustering up 1 run altogether in last night's defeat, as mentioned earlier, and that one is inside again, so a 2-1 count now for Johnson. Hall winds this one up and launches it inside and catches Johnson swinging a big hack at that one. Unable to get any contact there. And now, once again, for Hall and the Corndogs, a chance to close this inning out. Unable to do so thus far. We'll see if they're able to channel anything right here as Hall launches this one in. And that is going to be a strikeout. Hall gets the job done, avoids any further damage, and brings us to the bottom of the first inning with a 2-0 lead for the Bootleggers as the Corndogs come up to bat right after the break here. I'm Jonah Weintraub, and you're watching Corndogs Baseball. Welcome back, everyone. We're here for the bottom of the first inning between the Corndogs and the Bootleggers on this fine Saturday night here in the Queen City. Up to bat now for the Corndogs, the leadoff man for the second straight game, Garrett Sanner, number 2. Sanner going into his sophomore year at Lenore Ryan, one of the younger players on this team, but thus far has been leading the Corndogs in hits through 2 games and in batting average, so he's earned his position as that leadoff guy for Queen City and has capitalized on his opportunities. Sanner barely gets that one foul right there. Looked like it could have gone fair, but just trickled out of bounds right before he went past the third base. As that pitch goes to Sanner's feet, make it a 1-1 count now. On the mound for the Bootleggers is number 11, Justin Willis. Working now with that 1-1 count against Sanner as that one goes outside, make it a 2-1 count now. Sanner had another fantastic game in his second outing against this very Bootleggers team last night. He had 2 hits and an RBI against Race City. Give him that lead for hits on the season for the Corndogs. And make it another one for Sanner. Gets that one right to the outfield and will get a leadoff single for the second straight game. Sanner staying hot right now for the Corndogs and been arguably their best player in the season thus far. Now up to bat for the Corndogs is number 26, Dave Masri. Masri batting in the 2-hole here. Rising sophomore going into his sophomore year from Williams College up in the Northeast. As that pitch one from Willis is a strike against Masri. Masri got scoring started for the Corndogs last night within the second inning. He had a big double, cracked it to left field here and drove in 2 runs in the process, which started off that dominant effort for the Corndogs, looking to duplicate that performance tonight as that strike 2 against Masri. So went a hole quick against Willis. Sanner chilling out at first base. Sanner getting back just in time. And excuse me, actually Masri only drove in 1 run, but he did get the first run, drove it in with that RBI. Willis now looking to get his first strikeout of the game, and that one just outside. Almost caught Masri right there, but unable to. Masri at the plate so far through 2 games is batting 167 with 1 hit and 1 RBI, but he started 26 of 30 games with a 220 average, so that number looks like it's due to go up as that one ended up hitting Masri, so a good job right there. Staying in the box, taking that one against the shin, and now 2 runners on base and 2 at-bats for the Corndogs as number 38, Tyler Cotto, steps up to the plate. And that is not a guy that you want to see if you're Justin Willis. Arguably the most powerful bat for this Corndogs team. Has the lone home run for the Corndogs in 2 games with a big 3-run shot against the High Point Ty Toms earlier in the week. Had a solid game last time out. But with 2 runners on base, no outs, Cotto's not the guy you want to see in the batter's box right here if you're Justin Willis. And a second consecutive hit by pitch, so that'll load the bases for the Corndogs with no outs. So now with 3 runners on base, no outs, Willis is going to get a visit from his skipper for the Bootleggers. So after a quick conversation between them and the infield, we'll be right back to see if the Corndogs can capitalize on this great start to the bottom of the first inning. So tune right back in after the Quick little intermission, but we're back with number 42, Dylan Lewis at the plate. Another guy that has a lot of power, has double-digit home runs in 2 years at Queen's University. As he makes contact with that one, we'll see if the center fielder can get there in time, and he does, but that will bring home a run, it looks like, for the Corndogs, and that's Garrett Sander. So an RBI for Dylan Lewis, and the Corndogs get on the board for the first time in the game and bring the deficit back within one as number 55, Bill Budnick, heads up to the bat, looking to keep the good vibes going for the Corndogs as they only have one out and runners on the corners. Budnick now, the lefty, watches that one go low and inside, so he'll get the 1-0 count. Budnick, for those of you who weren't in the live stream last night, is one of 3 players for this Queen City Corndog team that plays for Queen's University up near Myers Park area. And in fact, all 3 of them go back to back to back in this lineup as Budnick rips one into right field. That one will bring in another run, and we have a tie game now as an error in the outfield by number 7, Dallas Allen allows Budnick to go all the way to third base and drive in 2 runners. That's Cotto coming in and Dave Masri coming in as Budnick gets the triple right there, and the first triple on the season for the Corndogs. Makes this a 3-2 lead, and we have a high-scoring affair to start this one out between both teams.
The catcher from San Jacinto, number 37, Harrison Bootleggers.
Heading up to the plate now for the Corndogs is number 37, Harrison Boutellette. Goes to San Jacinto Community College, or will be going there next year as he's entering his freshman year, and he is a big bat as well. Runner now at third is Budnick, and that one is high as a 1-0 count now against Boutellette. Boutellette, a native of Indian Land, South Carolina, the catcher tonight for the Corndogs, and in that catcher rotation, but saw one at-bat last night, struck out as a pinch hitter, and Boutellette blasts that one into the outfield, and it is caught, but it'll bring home another run as Will Budnick trots his way to home plate. That was really close to leaving. That was really close to getting out of here, but nevertheless an RBI. So really good work by the Corndogs early in this one as they have made it 4-2. Took a punch in the mouth from the Bootleggers and have immediately bounced back with 4 runs in the top of the first inning. This brings up now Cannon Pierce, number 10 for the Corndogs. Another lefty in this lineup for Queen City as that one is low for ball 1. Justin Willis getting all he can handle right now from this Queen City lineup. 4 early runs here in the top of the first, and that one is far and outside, so make it a 2-0 count now as Pierce, another young guy on this team, entering his sophomore year at UNC Asheville. Has no runners on base to work with, 2 outs thus far. Willis just trying to get out of this inning, but make it a 3-0 count now. Pierce last night had a solid outing as that one is a base on balls for Pierce. Makes his way over to first. The first walk of the night for Willis.
Now batting for the Corndogs.
And the Corndogs through 2 games have gotten walked 20 times, so that's just a staggering number right there and testament to the presence in the batter's box for these Corndogs. And that brings up number 24, Harrison Wilson, who's one of the most versatile players on this Corndogs roster. Threw a gem last night with 5 strikeouts, and now he's playing third base tonight for Queen City as that pitch goes high and near the head of Wilson. Pierce at first base. Wilson did get some run at bat in the High Point game earlier in the week as Pierce guns to second base, and will he get there in time? He is able to, so a stolen base there from Cannon Pierce. And another runner in scoring position for Queen City. as the 1-1 count now against Wilson. In that game against High Point, Wilson went 1 of 4, struck out one time and got a base on ball, but one of two players on this team that can play both ways. And we mentioned they threw a gem last night. 5 Ks in 2 innings for Wilson as another ball is thrown right there. So a 2-1 count now against Wilson, the Winthrop product from Fort Mill, South Carolina. Wilson got 6 outs and a third hit by pitch right there as Wilson will make his way to first base. So another runner for the Corndogs now, and with 2 outs, Justin Willis just can't finally get his Bootleggers off the field. And 3 hit by pitches in this inning alone. And that brings up number 9, Michael Royston, who hasn't seen any action thus far in the 2023 summer season, getting his first run right here. And we'll get a first look at how he looks. Royston entering his junior year, one of the catchers for this Corndog team, playing in the extra hitter position tonight. The Gastonia, North Carolina product. Plays ball at USC Lancaster during the school year, and that one goes right near Royston's head. Royston attended Forest View High School. And then made his way to Patrick and Henry Community College, where he stayed for a little while before transferring to USC Lancaster. As that looks like it's another hit by pitch, so a control issue right now for Justin Willis as he's hit 4 batters in this inning alone, and it looks like there may be a pitching change made. It looks like the Bootleggers are, it looks like they may be bringing out someone early in the top of the first. So once the Bootleggers decide on what they're going to do in the pitching situation, we'll be right back for the remainder of this bottom of the first inning, in which the Corndogs lead 4-2 with 2 outs, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back in action here from the Friar for opening weekend for the Queen City Corndogs, and A pitching change has been made for the Bootleggers after Justin Willis allowed 4 runs in this inning and loaded the bases yet again with 2 outs. And now Caleb Singleton, number 4, the end of the lineup for the Corndogs, as he takes ball 1, right there. Can continue this hot start for Queen City. Meanwhile, the pitcher on the mound for the Bootleggers is number 8, Landon Reef, trying to bring up a little something new for this Bootleggers squad and get them out of this inning with any more runs avoided. It's been a difficult one for the Bootleggers, to say the least. 4 runs, 3 hit by pitches, 4 actually hit by pitches. So a lot of action here and a 4-2 lead for Queen City. Reef takes time, has a 2-0 count, bases loaded and 2 outs. And that one is outside again for Singleton, who went 1 of 3 last night with a single, but did his damage on the base path. He had 3 stolen bases and already leads the Corndogs in stolen bases. He's an absolute blazer, so that pitch goes inside for strike 1, 3-1 count now for Singleton, who he went 0 of 5 in his first game against High Point. Coach didn't lose faith, kept him in the lineup, and he paid dividends last night. Most dangerous base runner for the Corndogs, and a big swing right there and a 3-1 count, and that brings it to a full count. Reef now trying to get his Bootleggers to live another inning here. 1 strike away from doing it, and everyone's going to go. And that will be...
Back of the plate for Queen City, second baseman number 2, Garrett.
That'll be ball 4, so that brings home another runner for the Corndogs, make it 5-2, and now we're back at the top of the inning, the top of the lineup, as Garrett Sander, who led off with a single, is already back up. Quick rest for Sander, and that one looks like it went off near the lower part of the barrel of his bat. So, that's going to be strike 1 for Sander. We mentioned Sander against Race City earlier, what he did last night. He also had 2 stolen bases on the base path. Struck out twice, but had those 2 hits as well. So a solid night for the Lenore Rhine product, as that one goes into the dirt, and Reef on the mound now just trying to help his squad out in any way, shape, or form escape this inning. And Sander gets another hit. That one goes right past the glove of the shortstop, and Sander is going to bring in 2 more as Singleton tries to get to third, and he is safe.
Garrett Sander drives in 2 runs for the Dogs.
So 2 more runs for Queen City as Garrett Sander, with his second single of the contest, continuing his hot streak, the leading hitter for the Corndogs. And Singleton goes all the way from first to third, with Dave Mosry back up to bat. Got hit by a pitch his last time out. And a little bit of a discussion right now between the umpires and the Race City dugout. We'll see if that was about anything or just a quick little conversation. Looks like that might be the extent of what it was. So Corndogs, after allowing more runs in the first inning than they did the entire 2 games combined, they say, anything you do, we can do better, and put up 7 here in the top of the first, getting out to an absolutely blazing start, our Corndogs, as Dave Mosry now, with his second at-bat of the inning, looking to keep the good times rolling for Queen City. Mosry has 2 home runs and 12 RBIs in his last season as Sander. Catcher not even going to try to test him there. Garrett Sander lunging in and gets steal. Now runners on second and third, so 2 more in scoring position for Queen City, and what's been an absolutely dominant first inning, or bottom of the first inning, for Jeff Pluta and his squad. A big swing right there by Mosry results in a whiff, so make it a 1-1 count now against Mosry. Mosry had 2 home runs in his college season for Williams College, as he looks for this one, and it is going to be a ball just outside of the zone, so 2-1 count against Masri. Sander at second, 2 outs, and Singleton at third. Singleton and Sander, 2 of the premier base runners for this Queen City club. And that pitch is low into the outside with a chance to load the bases again with Masri. He's able to get walked right here, and Reef on the mound, and the Bootleggers just can't get that final out. They've been with 2 outs for a while now and have continued to give up the runs, as that is strike 2, so a full count now. A chance for Reef to get this one back to the top of the second and stop the bleeding. As Masri awaits this one and fouls it back up behind the bleachers. And a little bit of cheering from behind me. Someone made a catch over there. I can't see it, but the Bootleggers wishing it was them that made that catch so they could just get out of this inning. As Reef now takes this one back, and that is outside, so another base on balls for the Bootleggers, who are just having a really difficult time, to say the least, trying to put it politely, as now the bases are loaded for Queen City, and that brings up Tyler Cotto, who hits for the fences, does so in college, does so here. Arguably, depending on your perspective, the most dangerous batter for this Corndogs lineup. With bases loaded, we'll see what he can do. Cotto got hit by a pitch in his first time out, as that one goes through the catcher's hand, and bases loaded no more, as Singleton gallops past the pitcher, unable to get tagged in time, and that is another run for the Corndogs, make it 8 on the inning, as Singleton gets some high fives and fist bumps, put in some work on the base path there after getting the base on balls in the bottom of the lineup, and now with a 1-0 count, runners on second and third for Cotto to work with. That's strike 1 for Reef. Cotto looked like he was going to try to swing at that. Checked, but nevertheless, still a strike. And a big swing right there, and that's strike 2. Looks like it's a little deliberation as to whether it was hit off the bat and caught, but nope, that's going to be strike 2. So a 1-2 count for Cotto, who was swinging for the fences right there. Unable to come up with anything, though. Leads the Corndogs in RBIs through 2 games, and he gets that one past the third baseline, and that is going to bring home 2 more runners for Queen City, as Cotto stops at first base. But 2 more runs, 2 more RBIs for Cotto, and a 10-2 lead for Queen City. They have poured it on the Bootleggers to start this one off. And which brings up Dylan Lewis, number 42, for his second at-bat of the night, as the Corndogs are making rounds. Nobody in the Queen City dugout can wait too long, because they might just get back to the plate soon. So now with Cotto at first, his Queens University teammate, Dylan Lewis, watches this one go high for ball 1. Reef with 2 outs, the runner on first, has another ball, so a 2-0 count here. Lewis, another one of the local kids on this team, not only attending Queens University, but from Charlotte himself, playing for the Queen City Corndogs too. Keeps it in the area, as that one is in the strike area for strike 1 on this count. 2-1 now against Lewis, who is just a huge guy too, 6'3", 220, has a lot of torque, able to make great contact with the ball right there, and that one is skying up into the fan section, and it lands on the road. Disaster averted, nobody hit. And that makes it 2-2 now for Lewis. Budnick on deck. And Reef on the mound with the Bootleggers, just trying to get it out by any means necessary. And that will do it. A swing and a miss, and the first strikeout for Reef, and the final out of the inning for the Bootleggers. So a 10-2 lead going into the top of the second for Queen City. and we will be right back for the start of the second inning, live here from the Friar on opening weekend for your Queen City Corndogs. Welcome back here to the top of the second inning for the Queen City Corndogs, and a pitching change has been made for Queen City. Getting his first action of the 2023 summer season is number 6, Aiden Meany. Throws his first strike of the season now with the 1-1 count against the batter for the Bootleggers. That's number 3, Raider McIntyre. A pitch outside from Meany, who goes up 2-1 in the count now. And Meany, an interesting story to say the least, one of the more interesting stories on this Queen City team, originally from New Hampshire. Works his way down to Queen City, and we'll get into that as he throws ball 3 now, so 3-1 count for Meany against McIntyre. Played his high school ball at Bishop Gurdon High School in Nashua, New Hampshire. As that pitch is fouled off right into the Bootleggers dugout, make it a full count now for Meany to work with against McIntyre. Meany winds this one up, and it is high, so he walks McIntyre, which brings up number 22, Nick Powell, for the Bootleggers.
Now at the plate for Ray City's third baseman, number 22, Nick Powell.
Nick Powell, the third baseman for the Bootleggers, steps up to the plate now with a runner at first. And going back to Meany, he played his high school ball at Bishop Gurdon High School in New Hampshire and relocated to Harrisburg, North Carolina just after his high school graduation, since he's been in college, where he attends Alabama, plays club baseball there for the Rolling Tide. Program down there, regardless of what level, that is baseball in its DNA, sports in its DNA, really, to say the least, down there in Tuscaloosa. As a 2-0 count now for Meany. So works his way all the way down from, he's been every corner of the East Coast, now making his way to the Atlantic Coast here in Tar Heel State, and he throws a strike right there. Meany does. So make it a 2-1 count now. Nick Powell up at plate. Meany winds this one up and launches it in, and that is going to be a strike, so bring it to a 2-2 count now for the rising junior right-hand pitcher. Looking to get his first strikeout or first out in general of the 2023 season on the bump. And that one is thrown. It's caught by Wilson, and it's going to be a double play right there. Oh, did they? It looks like they might have actually ruled Powell safe at first base. So just gets the out at second. McIntyre thrown out on a nice play by Harrison Wilson, the third baseman.
Now batting, designated hitter number
But unable to
2,
achieve
Jay.
unable to achieve the 5-3-2 double play right there. So that brings up number 2, J.W. Taylor for the Bootleggers. And still just one runner at first. Gets the first out on that near double play. Wilson does. So Corndogs now 2 outs away as Meany attempted to pick off the runner there. Almost got it. Powell had a sizable lead right there, and he still does. Meany looking him off as Taylor at the plate, the designated hitter for the Bootleggers, watches that one go high for ball 2. 2-0 count now against him. And that little infield blooper, a nice play made by Harrison Wilson. Once again, a very versatile player as that pitch is low and away for ball 3. So the Corndogs, who have had doubled the amount of strikeouts that they've had based on balls through 2 games, having a little less friendliness with the strike zone tonight, as that one was no doubter. Gets right in there for strike 1. Now Meany works his way back into the count. The Corndogs through 9 innings have striked out 9 batters, so a high mark for them, and have only walked 4.5 batters through 9 innings, as that is a walk right there. So runners on first and second as the top of the order comes back for the Bootleggers. Michael Carroll now, number 23. The center fielder steps up to the plate, while lead skipper for the Corndogs, Jeff Pluta, has a talk with the home base ump. No runs scored this inning thus far. Still a 10-2 lead for Queen City. And music playing here so it looks like we may have a little bit of a conversation. So we'll be right back in just a matter of seconds. All right, everything's sorted out here at the Friar, otherwise known as Charlotte Ladin High School Baseball Stadium, the place the Corndogs call home for this summer season, as Meany has a chance to get this one out, and the play is made at second base. So a nice throw there by Dave Mosdery to get the runner out in time. And once again, a fielder's choice made on back-to-back at-bats. And now Meany just 1 out away from bringing up the Corndogs back to bat.
Right fielder number 7, Dallas Allen.
Dallas Allen up at the plate again. The right fielder for the Bootleggers. Number 7 for Race City. Runner on first. 2 outs, and Meany has some room to work with the runner's trying to go to second. Boutellette guns it over, and safe. A great throw by Boutellette right there, but just got beat out by the runner. So now we have Michael Carroll at second base. 1 ball and 2 outs for Meany to work with. Meany gets the pitch that he likes. Him and Boutellette communicating, and that one, a lot of velocity, but not in the zone, so make it a 2-0 count now. As the sun is making its way, setting here at the Friar. A beautiful evening for baseball. 2 back-to-back beautiful evenings, as that pitch is just outside to the left, so make it a 3-0 count now for Dallas Allen. Meany winds this one up, and that hit is right to the first baseman, and a little routine toe tap right there on the first base line. That's Will Budnick, the first baseman, making the play and bringing back up the Corndogs, who had a 10-run first inning, and they will have a chance to extend that lead here as they are on top 10-2 heading into the bottom of the second. I'm Jonah Weintraub, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We are here for the bottom of the second inning between the Queen City Corndogs and the Race City Bootleggers. Queen City on top, 10-2 here with Will Budnick up to bat, the first baseman who just made the last out to get the Corndogs to the bottom of the second inning. As he makes contact with that one, and it goes right past the glove of the first baseman for the Bootleggers, and Budnick, with his second hit of the game after the triple earlier in this one, lumbers his way to the first base and gives the Corndogs another base runner early in this one, as number 37, Harrison Bootleggers, steps back up to the plate for his second bat of the game. In his last at bat, Bootleggers had a deep pop out that almost went out of the field, but ended up just being an RBI nevertheless, so made great contact with that one. Bootleggers with a 200 average through 2 games for the Corndogs as that pitch is outside. Budnick with a pretty sizable lead right there for Queen City at first base. Bootleggers, another interesting story. Attended Charlotte Catholic High School, where team owner Eddie Hull now coaches after getting promoted, and that's a strike right there. 1-1 against Bootleggers. Then transfers to Metrolina Christian Academy, where he was all-state as a senior, and now heading to San Jacinto Community College, which is one of the more storied junior community colleges in the baseball world, producing products left and right. 77 MLB players drafted since 2003, the most of any junior college in the country. And one of those players not even mentioned was earlier, predates 2003, but Roger Clemens attended San Jacinto in his time before getting drafted and having obviously a Hall of Fame career in the MLB. So a good place to be for a good baseball player, as another deep shot and the second one of the game that Bootleggers hits with great contact, but for the second time falls its way into the glove of an outfielder for Race City. And that is the first out of the inning for Race City, who had a lot of difficulty amassing outs last time out, so a good sign here. Now Cannon Pierce back up after a base on ball in the first at-bat that he had in the bottom of the first inning. Pierce, number 10, 6 foot, 170 pounds, from Matthews, North Carolina, right down the road here. He's working with the 1-0 count. Budnick still at first, and that one right down the middle. Nothing to do but look there for Pierce as he takes strike one with the Corndogs now. Up 10-2 still, only 1 out. Reef still on the mound for Race City as that pitch is inside for ball 2. Cannon Pierce, a Butler High School product, playing his second season of collegiate summer ball after playing with the now named Pineville Porcupines in 2022. Corndogs will play them in mid-July, so a rematch for Pierce as he's working with the 3-1 count now. And make it 4. Pierce will make his way to first base. Bodneck advances to second. And now with 2 runners on, that brings up number 24, Harrison Wilson, for his second at-bat of the contest.
25, Harrison Wilson.
In his last at-bat, Wilson got pegged by a pitch, so he was one of the 4 batters to get hit by a pitch in that first inning for Queen City, as the catcher for Race City and Reef conversing at the mound. Some adjustments need to be made. Only 1 out now, 2 runners on. Wilson, a lot to work with here. Wilson, the 6'3" righty from Fort Mill, South Carolina. Watches that strike. Well, actually, looks like it's a ball. Watches that ball go in. So a 1-0 count. A good eye by there. That's why Wilson's on the field and I'm in the booth. But Wilson now with a 1-0 count. And Wilson entering his sophomore year at Winthrop, where he saw 7 games of action in his true freshman year, as that one's fouled off for ball 1. Only hit 143, but adjusting to the college level is no easy task, and he made 4 starts towards the end of the year with the Eagles, so an upward trajectory for Wilson, who looked fantastic on the bump last night, as we alluded to earlier. Just absolute clinic that he put on pitching the ball, and made a great play at third base last inning as that pitch gets by the catcher, and both runners will advance for Queen City. So now 2 in scoring position for Wilson, who has a 2-1 count to work with here. Already up 10-2 are the Corndogs, looking to keep on bringing the runs in against the Race City team that they beat 11-1 last night. Similar score right now, but only the bottom of the second inning. That pitch is low for ball 3, so another favorable count for a Corndogs batter, and a Corndogs team that gets walked quite frequently, 10 times per game thus far, and make it 1 more for this game. Bases loaded yet again for Queen City. No easy task here.
Stepping up to the plate, extra hitter number 9, Michael Royston.
And that brings up Michael Royston again, who got hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. His first at-bat of the season, Royston's. Reef launches this one in, and that'll be strike 1. So a nice pitch right there by Reef, much to the displeasure of the fans here at Queen City's home stadium. That one is low, and a nice stop made right there behind the plate. Make it 1-1 now for Royston to work with. Landon Reef now with 1 out, bases loaded, attempting to avoid disaster here as Royston hits that one off of his own leg, so make it a 1-2 count right now. Royston from Gastonia mentioned that he played at Patrick and Henry before making his way to USC Lancaster, where he plays ball now, and takes a big swing at that one, and a strikeout for Landon Reef. Now 2 outs on the inning, and that brings back up Caleb Singleton, who got walked in his last time up. Singleton, the bottom of the order for the Corndogs, watches that pitch go outside. 1-0 count. the lefty from Greenwood, South Carolina. Watches ball 2 go in. As we said, he already leads the Corndogs in stolen bases through 2 games. Had 3 in his last outing against the same Bootleggers team, and that one goes right past the second baseman, and Singleton will bring in 2. No, he won't. That's an out at home plate, but the run gets in before, so it's going to be 11-2, but Singleton gets the single, and that brings us to the top of the 3rd inning with the Corndogs amassing a near double-digit lead once again. We'll be back for the top of the 3rd right after this break. You're watching Queen City Corndogs baseball with Jonah Weintraub. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're here for the top of the 3rd inning between the Queen City Corndogs and the Race City Bootleggers. Corndogs on top 11-2 now with a new pitcher in. 1-1 count, and that one goes to Dave Masri, who throws the batter out in time. An early out number 1 for the Corndogs here in the top of the 3rd.
Now batting for Race City, shortstop number 25, Ryan Clark.
That brings up number 25, Ryan Clark. With 1 out on the mound for the Corndogs is number 21, Sam Johnson, going into his freshman year at Marietta. And that is a nice play made by Will Budnick. Quick 2 outs here for the Corndogs to add insult to injury. Getting the announcement now from our PA announcer, Mackie Gallagher, about the food truck night here at the Friar. Some good options there. For those of you who are not able to be here, keeping you in the loop here on the broadcast. That's our job as Johnson now, who we haven't had time to get into much because he's gotten such outs, two outs so quickly, as that pitch is fouled back for strike one. Johnson is going into his freshman year at Marietta College, and he's another one of the Charlotte kids on this Queen City team, a team that's kept it overwhelmingly local. Johnson, 6'4", 210 pounds, and getting his first action of the year for the Corndogs and doing well in those first bits of action here. 2 quick outs. 1-1 count now for Johnson. Make it 1-2. That pitch was a no-doubter right into the strike zone, and a chance here for Johnson to make quick work of the Bootleggers side. Unable to do so there. That pitch had a lot of juice on it, but missed out on the strike zone. As let's get into Johnson some more. Played at Mallard Creek High School in the area, so another school that those of you might be familiar with if you're tuned into the Charlotte area. And that is going to be strike 3. Johnson gets his 3rd out quickly into the inning, makes quick work of the Bootleggers side, and just like that, the Corndogs are back up the bat here in the bottom of the 3rd. We'll be right back for that after this short break. You're watching Corndogs Baseball.
Garrett Center.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here from the Friar for the start of the bottom of the 3rd inning. Corndogs back to the top of their lineup. Garrett Sanner on the plate for Queen City. 1-0 count early on the leadoff man for the Corndogs, who has had about as good of a start to the season as you could hope for your leadoff hitter. Actually batted the 9-hole in the season opener against the High Toms, but quickly proved that he deserved to be moved up, as he has been quite hot to start off this season. Best batting average on the team, most hits on the team, and a solid OBP as well to back it up, as a nice play made by manager Jeff Pluta on the 3rd base line as Sanner fouls that one off for a 2-1 count. Now Reef launches this one in, and another hit made by Sanner, and that one is going to drop right in front of the center fielder, and yet again another single for Sanner, who has 3 on the day. He is racking up those singles to start this game off and keeping his streak going. which brings up number 26, Dave Mossery, who has got on base twice, but one time by a walk, one time by getting hit by a pitch. So we'll see if he's able to get on base in a more conventional way going forward. But Mossery hits that one, and speak of the devil, he'll hit another single. Sander will advance to second, and once again, the Corndogs are back in action, picking up where they left off last inning and the inning before that. Which brings up Tyler Cotto again. Hit a single his last time up. Number 38, the designated hitter for the Corndogs. Cotto has reached base both times in his 2 at-bats tonight. Now with no outs and runners on first and second, trying to capitalize on this great position. That pitch from Reef just outside. Reef looking back at Sander at second base as Cotto launches that one up into the air. Looks like it's just going to be a pop fly. Not enough distance as Sander actually stays at second base, and a good play by Reef to back up that throw to third. So Cotto flies out right there. And that brings up Dylan Lewis, number 42, for his third at-bat of the game. Lewis hasn't reached base tonight, but did have an RBI on the flyout that he had earlier in the contest and struck out in his second at-bat. Reef has gotten a lot of pitching in these last couple of innings as that pitch is low into the outside. Runners still at second and first. Lewis awaits the pitch from Reef. Reef checks back at Sander, and a big swing to no result. A strike one. 1-1 count now against Lewis. Took a big hack at that one. Unable to come up with any contact there, and Reef has settled into the game a little. Only allowed 1 run in the second inning as Lewis watches that one go just to the outside. So mark it 2-1 now on the rising junior from Queens University. Sander posing a threat on the baseline, and Lewis fouls that one off, probably for the better that it went. Foul could have been a potential double play there, or at least a guaranteed out at the minimum, which brings up a 2-2 count now for Lewis. Batting in the 4 spot and playing out in right field is Lewis. Big bat for the Corndogs. And he lines that one to the shortstop, and that play is made, and the double play unable to be accomplished, but it looks like they'll get Cotto out at, Mossery is going to be out at second base, but Sander advances to third. So with 2 outs now, runners on the corner, on a fielder's choice single, that is. And that brings up Will Budnick, who has 2 hits tonight, has made great contact with the ball, had a triple in the first inning, and then in the second, found his way on base again with a hard hit single. So Budnick trying to go 3 for 3 tonight. The lefty with runners on the corners. Lewis threatening to steal, and that one is inside for ball number 2. Budnick with a good eye in these past 2 pitches, ahead on the count right now. And Lewis is going to go, and that one is going to go far. Will it go? And it's caught right along the warning track. A nice play made by Dallas Allen in the outfield as that ends the 3rd inning. with the Corndogs maintaining an 11-2 lead going into the fourth inning. So we'll be right back with you for the start of the fourth. You're watching Queen City Corndogs baseball with Jonah Weintraub. Happy to be bringing it to you, and we will be right back.
City. Extra hitter number 33, Troy Holloman.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for the top of the fourth inning. After some long early innings, back-to-back, well, the third inning was a quick one as Sam Johnson, still on the mound for the Corndogs, made quick work of the Bootleggers in his last time out, one of the younger guys on this roster. And that's a strike right there for Johnson. Up to bat for the Bootleggers is number 33, Troy Holloman. That's another strike for Johnson, who's looked great tonight on the mound. Had that very brisk first inning that he's thrown this season and has quickly settled in, and that is going to be strike three looking as Holloman heads back to the dugout, and another beautiful at-bat thrown by Sam Johnson. Johnson, when talking to Coach Pluta, the manager for the Corndogs, said that Johnson is a hard thrower and that he'll compete for starts once we get to league play, and he's showing why. He definitely has some of the stuff right here, which brings up number 34, Brandon Johnson. With one out, no runners on. Bootleggers trying to spark a rally here. Scored 2 runs in the top of the first, but have come up with nothing since. Johnson winds this one up and launches it in, and contact made. Johnson can't get to it. The third baseman, Wilson. Oh, it looks like it might have bounced off of. Johnson. Nevertheless, foul ball, so make it a 1-2 count now against Johnson. A Johnson on Johnson matchup. And contact made once again. That one finds its way to the Race City dugout. As the battle of the Johnsons right now in favor of the one on the mound. We'll see if Brandon Johnson can make up for that in that one. A checked swing, but it goes foul anyway, so 3 foul balls in a row now to make the count 1-2. Still 1 out, nobody on for Race City. In desperate need of getting something going here are the Bootleggers as Sam Johnson winds this one up, and it is a ball, so make it a 2-2 count now for the Marietta College product, or soon-to-be product. one more time. We'll see what happens, and that is going to be another looking strike. So the second strikeout of the inning for Sam Johnson, who has been playing phenomenal and throwing an absolute gem on the mound right now for the Corndogs. Back-to-back strikeouts for the 6'4", 210-pound pitcher, Charlotte native, as number 3 Raider McIntyre comes up to plate for the for the Bootleggers. And another strike thrown in. A ton of heat on that one from Johnson. A big swing and a miss right there. Johnson making McIntyre dig into the plate for that one. As a quick 0-2 count now with a chance to end this inning quickly again, and he will do it. Sam Johnson absolutely dominating the Bootleggers and gets his third strike in 3 at-bats. Now heads to the bottom of the 4th inning and gives the Corndogs a chance to extend their 11-2 lead here at the Friar. You're watching Corndogs opening weekend. Happy to be bringing it to you. All right, ladies and gents, we're back here from the Friar, bottom of the 4th inning, with the Corndogs leading the Bootleggers 11-2 here. Harrison Bouthelette back up to bat for his 3rd at-bat of the game. Has flown out twice. One was an RBI. But yet to get on base is Bouthelette, catcher tonight for the Corndogs. As the lefty watches one go in for... That'll actually be ball 1, so just outside of the strike zone. Good look right there from Bouthelette. Bouthelette, the lefty, makes contact with this one, and it goes foul, so make it a 1-1 count now against the Indian Land native. Bootleggers was All-State in his senior year at Metro Atlanta Christian Academy. Put up big numbers and is a big bat. Headed to San Jacinto Community College. Watching that one go in for ball 2. So with an 11-2 lead here, Bootleggers looking to start things off for Queen City. A little bit of a wait between that pitch as it goes in for strike 2, so 2-2 count now against Bootleggers. And there was a pitching change on the mound for the Bootleggers is number 10, Jackson Greer, excuse me. Greer throws the ball right there, so a full count for Bootleggers, who has yet to get on base today. And he launches this one way up, but it goes foul off into the forest in the left field. Stays alive in the count, 3-2. It's Greer looking to help his Bootleggers get back on offense and try to make some sort of run at this thing. Bootleggers makes contact with that one again, and it goes into the left field. We'll see if it goes. It's foul, and it's actually that went fair and bounced foul. So Bootleggers, with the fortunate hop right there, makes his way to second base and gets the thing started for the Corndogs here in the bottom of the 4th.
Now batting left fielder number 10, Cannon Pierce.
Now heading up to the plate for the Corndogs is number 10, Cannon Pierce, who has been walked twice tonight. Successful night for Pierce thus far. No outs for Pierce as he has Bootleggers chilling out at second base. Pierce takes a big swing at that one. Comes up with nothing. Make it 0-1 now. Greer on the mound. No outs yet. Looking back at Bootleggers. And a nice hit there by Pierce. Gets it right down the middle. And that is going to not bring any runners. But it'll keep Bootleggers at third base. Now runners on the corners for the Corndogs. And Pierce gets on base for the 3rd time in 3 at-bats.
Third baseman number 25, Harrison Wilson.
Harrison Wilson, number 25, up to bat now for the Corndogs. He's been hit by a pitch and got walked thus far. So, like Pierce, got on base twice in 2 at-bats, just without a hit. See if he, like Pierce in his 3rd at-bat, can actually get on base via a hit, or either way, you get on base, you get on base. As a little bit of deliberation going on here between the umpires. Everything seems to be settled up. Now Harrison Wilson. As Pierce gets back to first base in time. Harrison Wilson with 2 runners on the corners. No outs thus far. Attended Catawba Ridge High School, where he was 4A Region 3 Player of the Year as a senior before he just had his freshman year at Winthrop. Super talented 2-way player, as we've seen in these back-to-back nights against Ray City. And batting right now with a lot of margin for error as that one goes in for strike 1. So an 0-1 count now against Wilson. Wilson batting .250 on the season thus far. Looks to improve that average as Pierce tries to get to second base, and he does so. Now 2 runners in scoring position for the Corndogs as Pierce easily makes his way over to second. That was a ball on the pitch, so a 1-1 count with 2 runners in scoring position. Bootleggers on third, Pierce on second. No outs still, so Greer on the mound. Aims to at least make some progress here as Wilson watches that one go outside. Mark it ball 2. That's a strike, so mark it 2-2 count now on Wilson, who going into this game was 1 of 4 on the season with 1 strikeout and 1 base on ball. Didn't bat in his last game as he was on the mound. Now back in the lineup. Looking to find some momentum here as he takes a big hack at that one. And will it be marked fair? No, it won't. 2-2 count still. Corndogs racking up the hits tonight, which wasn't necessarily the story for the first 2 games. We mentioned earlier that the Corndogs have been walked 20 times in 2 games, but tonight they're doing it much more conventionally, getting on base with the bats as Wilson makes good contact with that one. Stopped by the shortstop, but not gloved, and no play being able to be made as Bootleggers makes his way home and scores another run for the Corndogs. So an RBI single for Harrison Wilson. And that brings up Michael Royston for his 3rd at-bat of the game, in which the Corndogs have amassed a 10-run lead here in the bottom of the 4th inning, 12-2, a new season high in runs for Queen City, breaking the mark they had last night when they won 11-1 against this same Race City team. Royston yet to get a hit in his first action of the season. Looking to do so right here at this at-bat. Struck out his last time out, but the time before that got drilled by a pitch on the first inning, and a first inning in which the Bootleggers hit 4 Queen City batters. So Royston was one of those 4 as he looks at that one bounce away, and both runners are going to be able to advance. So now 2 runners in scoring position yet again for the Corndogs. And the Bootleggers just can't buy anything here. So 2-0 count, 2 runners on, 2nd and 3rd. Royston in a good situation right now for the Corndogs. Royston, then Singleton. No outs, and then that brings back up the top of the order as Royston takes a big hack at that one, unable to come up with anything there. Now make it 2-1 against Royston. 5'6", 170 pounds. Going into his junior year, and he takes another hack at that one. Similar results, so with the 2-0 count, Royston gets a little ambitious there. Now evens it up at 2-2. Greer looking to get the first out of the inning for the Bootleggers. We'll see if he's able to do so here. And it looks like Greer will call time. Quick little conversation with the catcher. So we'll be right back for the remainder of the bottom of the 4th. You're watching Queen City Corndogs baseball with Jonah Weintraub, and we will be right back. Well, when I said we'd be right back, I thought we're really right back as that's ball 3. Quick little timeout right there is now a full count against Royston, looking to get his first hit of the 2023 summer campaign. And he doesn't even need to. He gets on base via walk yet again. That's the second time he's got on base today. Once hit by a pitch. And now bases loaded with no outs, and that brings up Caleb Singleton, who has had bases loaded prior and hit a single his last time that he was up with the bases loaded. Trying to replicate that here as there are no outs still with a 12-2 lead, and the Corndogs threatening once again. Singleton fouls that one off, opposite side. Make it 0-1. Now is Greer trying to find anything there on the mound. The Bootleggers in a near desperate situation here as we're approach, maybe even past danger zone, as another foul ball to the opposite side. So 0-2 count, but two good looking swings there from Singleton. Singleton not necessarily known for the bat, batting below 200 in his collegiate season at Lander, but that's what these summers are for, as that one is off to the left. So we'll make it 1-2, bases still loaded, still no outs, and Singleton aiming to make another run here for the Corndogs, who have had some big innings to start things off, as that one is up high for ball 2. Greer on the mound. Winds this one up, and that is way outside, but nobody's going to run, as not a lot of flexibility on the base path there with the bases loaded. So make it 3-2 now. Big pitch coming up, a potential for the Corndogs to get another run here. As Singleton fouls that one off, and that is right back again to the left field. The lefty batter from South Carolina able to keep this at-bat alive. Hit 3 foul balls opposite side, so good looking at-bat for Singleton as he gets that one over the head of the third baseman. That'll bring home 1 run and extend this Corndogs lead to 13-2. A great at-bat from Caleb Singleton and an RBI single for the second time this outing for Singleton, which brings back up the top of the order for Queen City. Garrett Sander, who's had 3 consecutive singles. A fantastic game from Sander once again, who is making his claim to be the consistent starter at that leadoff position for Queen City in combination with his speed on the base path. As that pitch goes in for strike 1. Greer still working with no outs for the Bootleggers, in which the lead has ballooned to 11. For those of you who have just tuned in, the game was actually 2-0 after a half inning, as Sander pops that one off into the outfield. Unable to get that, and actually, yeah, the throw back just in time. It was a shallow pop fly, so no runner comes home, so Sander just flies out right there. His first at-bat that hasn't resulted in a hit tonight, so 3 of 4 on the night now for Sander, which brings up Dave Mosry. The number 26 Mosry has singled in his last at-bat. Reached base all 3 times tonight, but as we were saying earlier in the game, after a half inning, the Bootleggers were up 2-0, but the Corndogs were up 10-2. This had a 10-run first inning to get out to this 13-2 lead and haven't looked back. Mosry fouls that one back. Go down 0-1 in the count. Now with 1 out for the Bootleggers, who have not had much success here at the Friar over these course of this weekend. Lost 11-1 last night in a dominant victory for the Corndogs, and barring any miracles, looking like it may be a similar result tonight, as that pitch is in for strike 2. Mosry now looking to defend the plate. Base is still loaded for the Corndogs as Mosry takes a hack at that one. Comes way up into the bleachers and lands for a deep foul ball behind us. So keeps himself in this one. 0-2 count still. Singleton at first base. Royston at second base. And a big swing there for strike 3. Back-to-back outs with bases loaded for the Bootleggers, and Greer on the mound. So a nice bounce back from the start of the inning in which 3 batters got on base. So a K for Masri right there brings up Tyler Cotto, who has popped out and had been hit by a pitch as well as a single in the second inning, his 4th at-bat of the night. And looks that one in for strike 1. Greer has really settled in on the mound, especially over these last 3 at-bats, looking a lot more comfortable, but perhaps a little too late. Still, Cotto launches that one, and it is way up there. Will it go back? And no, it doesn't, but that's the final out of the inning. Cotto, once again, making great contact with the ball. That's the exact spot he hit that home run in the opener, but unable to come up with anything there. So the Corndogs get 1 run in the inning to go up 13-2, and now we'll head to the top of the 5th right after this break, and a little in-game entertainment featuring our lovely mascot. So we'll be right back after this. You're watching Corndogs Baseball live with Jonah Weintraub.
Nick Powell.
Top of the 5th inning here from the Friar with number 22 for the Bootleggers. Nick Powell headed up to bat, and a pitching change once again for the Corndogs, who have been doing it by committee. Ashton Wolf up at the mound, number 44, making his first appearance of the season for Queen City. Wolf, the lefty, takes his first pitch. And that's a heater in there for a strike 1. A good look from Wolf, who is 6'1" and 225 from Matthews, North Carolina. So another kid right down the road. As Wolf winds up again, pitch 2. Inside to make the count 1-1. Wolf entering his freshman year at Southeastern Community College. So one of the very young guys on this team as he throws that one. Another one with a lot of velocity behind it, but outside of the zone. So make it 2-1 now with no outs, no runners on. Powell for the Bootleggers. Attempting to start something here. Down 11 in the top of the 5th. As that pitch is high and away. Make it 3-1 now for Wolf. And this Corndogs roster doesn't have a lot of left-handed pitchers, so Wolf will be important as the season goes on for those matchups. Getting his first run here in Game 3. And that is a walk right there, so Powell trots his way over to first base, and Wolf will have to wait to get his first out, at least with number 2, and that's J.W. Taylor. Taylor, the DH, at the bottom of the order for the Bootleggers. Now with one runner on. Wolf can see that first base runner the entire way as that pitch is low for ball 1, so make it 1-0 count for Taylor. Wolf, as we mentioned, local product, attended Butler High School. Played for Coach Benson of the Corndogs organization at Butler. As that off-speed is in there, nasty pitch right there for strike 1. That one just dropped right into the strike zone, had Taylor off his heels as Wolf has kept it in the Corndogs family with Coach Benson. That one right there is the ball, so 2-1 count now for Wolf to work with against Taylor. And that one is popped up into the infield, and the second baseman, Garrett Sander, will make the play. The first out of the inning for the Corndogs. Runner stays at first, as number 17 comes into the game now. This is Jake Porras pinch hitting for Michael Carroll at the top of the order. Wolf, as we mentioned, attended Butler High School, where he was the 4A Southwestern Pitcher of the Year, so a lot of talent there. As you can see, that off speed is fantastic from Wolf. And looks like there's a timeout. A ball from the bullpen has trickled its way back here behind the stop. So while we have a second, we can talk about Wolf as well. As we mentioned, 4A Southwestern Pitcher of the Year at Butler High School as a senior, and now he's heading to Southeastern Community College, where he looks to make a big impact there. Another one of those off-speed pitches, 66 miles per hour to be exact, goes at the feet of the batter, so 1-1 count right there. And we mentioned that he played for Coach Benson at Butler High School, so it's also worth mentioning that he is kept it in the Corndogs lineage. He's played on the showcase team for the Corndogs last year, now on the collegiate team, so very quickly ascending his way through this Queen City Baseball Club program and warranting it, as that's a 1-2 count now for Wolf to work with, attempting to get the second out of the inning for the Corndogs here. Jake Porras in his first at-bat of the night. And that's a 2-2 count now. Great play made right there behind the plate by Harrison Bootleggers. And Wolf unable to get that pitch in the zone right there. Now 3-2 against Porras. Nick Powell still at first base. And that pitch is in there, and it's lined and right past Sander. Powell rounding second, making his way to third. Will he try to gun it home? That's going to be at least a double. Well, that is a double. So a nice hit right there by number 17, Jake Porras. some runners in scoring position, 2 of them for the Bootleggers with 1 out on a play that just got past the second baseman Garrett Satter. And that will bring up number 5, Maddox Shove. Maddox Shoke, excuse us. Maddox Shoke, another pinch hitter, coming in for number 7, Dallas Allen now, with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out. Some momentum early in this inning for the Bootleggers as Wolf throws that one in for strike 1. 80-mile-per-hour pitch right there, had a little bit of velo on it, and Wolf ahead in the count now. Shoke, his first at-bat of the game. And that one right at the feet of Shoke, a good play made again by Harrison Bouthillette, who started the season at catcher for the Corndogs, part of a rotation that includes Michael Royston and Josh Lilly. Got to protect those knees, ladies and gents, as this pitch is fouled off, making it a 1-2 count now. And Shoke trying to bring in some of those runners. The Bootleggers haven't scored since the top of the first inning when they put up those 2 runs. Wolf trying to make sure that doesn't happen again as that pitch is into the dirt. Mark it 2-2 now for Wolf. The lefty guns it in and out of the strike zone once again. So another full count here, 3-2. Big moment here for Wolf in his first action of the 2023 summer circuit. And that is going to be a walk, so Shoke makes his way over to first base. Now bases are loaded for the Bootleggers here with 1 out. And that brings up number 24, Bennett McQueen, who is another pinch hitter. This Bootleggers team trying to get all they can in the game, trying to find any solution as that pitch is fouled off, so 0-1 count now.
City, number 24, Bennett McQueen.
Bennett McQueen comes in for Jimmy Rosengrant, who was batting in the 3 spot, so back-to-back-to-back batters that have been pinch hitting. The Bootleggers trying to find anything that works here in the top of the 5th, and that pitch is in there for strike 1. Wolf trying to get out of the jam here. Oh, 2 count, make it 0-3. A really nasty pitch right there from Wolf to get the second out of the inning, and that now gives him a little bit more of a cushion here, looking to bring the Corndogs to the bottom of the 5th. Up to bat is number 25, Ryan Clark.
Now batting number 25.
For the Bootleggers, the first batter that we've seen in a minute who hasn't been a pinch player. So the Ray City dugouts got to like what they've seen from him tonight as Wolf, pitch 1. That'll be ball. So Wolf trying to escape this inning with no damage done on the scoreboard. Has a lot to work with, though. A lot of cushion, that is. 13-2 lead for the Corndogs. Not necessarily a dire situation, but that one is hit far. And is that going to go? No, it's not, but it'll go to the warning track. Dylan Lewis has to get there. The hit will result in a 2 RBI triple, but the out will be made with the 5th runner. That's number 5, Maddox Shoke, who couldn't get home in time. So the Bootleggers get 2 more runs, make it 13-4, but a great play made from Dylan Lewis to get the ball to home plate. So now we're heading into the bottom of the 5th with the Corndogs up 13-4, so we'll be right back after this quick timeout. Welcome back, everyone, for the bottom of the fifth inning here as Dylan Lewis, on his first pitch that he's seen, hits one straight up, and it will drop in. That's fair, technically. That one sat like a shot from an iron on a golf course as Lewis, in a unique fashion, finds his way to score to get on first base right there. And a really totally interesting way. I'm a little dumbfounded here in the booth myself, but nevertheless, Lewis gets it done. Number 42 gets the single right there. His first time on base of the game, and that brings up number 33, Peter Gullo, who is one of the other players on this team that bats and pitches. Gullo takes ball one right there. Gullo had a nice night on the mound last night for the Corndogs, in which he made an appearance and pitched one inning and had 2 strikeouts. The Ardrey-Kell High School product that now attends Anderson University. Gullo, 6'2", 225. Big guy in the box right there. And now with Lewis at first. Fouls that one off into the creek behind the right field line, the right field wall. And with Lewis on first, no outs. Corndogs with a 13-4 lead. Gullo watches this one and skies it into center field. That one is hit far, but it is going to be caught by the center fielder. That's happening quite a bit tonight for the Corndogs. Making good contact with the ball, but to no avail. Nevertheless, that brings up the first out, and now brings back up Harris and Bootleggers. Bootleggers had a double in his last time out, but wasn't necessarily the prettiest double you've ever seen. Kind of landed in between 2 outfielders and had them thinking it was going foul, as that one goes out of the catcher's glove. Lewis not even threatening to run, so no worries there with 1 out. Bootleggers up 1-0 in the count now against Bootleggers. Lewis gets back to first. So Bootleggers, big bat. In fact, he participated in the 2022 MLB All-Star Weekend Home Run Derby for high schoolers at Dodger Stadium. So last summer he was out in LA as a part of that, and he's also been in some other various programs across the country. He is a supremely talented player entering his freshman year at San Jacinto, as he fouls this one off and behind, so make it a 2-1 count now against Bootleggers. Looking to keep his bat going. Two-one count now. Lewis still at first. Checked again, but he'll be totally fine. So Race City trying to get outs in any way that they can. Already have won this inning on the Gullo flyout. And Lewis is stealing the swing and the miss by Bootleggers, but Lewis will get there totally in time. So now a 2-2 count against Bootleggers. 1 runner on second base after Lewis got the steal. Lewis himself is a bit of a speed guy, too. He had 11 stolen bases as a freshman at Queens University, and he had that beautiful play to get the last out of last inning, throwing it all the way from right field to home, as Bootleggers once again fouls this one off, so keeps himself in this one. So far tonight, Bootleggers has flown out twice in addition to that double, though one of those pop flies was for an RBI in the first inning. So successful night again for Bootleggers, as that one fouled off again, keeping himself in the count right here. Pitcher for the Bootleggers is still number 10, Jackson Greer, who's been more or less the most successful pitcher tonight for the Bootleggers. So they found a little something with Greer on the mound, but with one out, Lewis at second, and Boothlet threatening. He fouls one off again. He's seeing the ball quite well right now. (13-4) lead for the Corndogs. This holds, they'll go to 3-0 on the season in their inaugural season as a collegiate baseball program. Heading into conference play, as the Bootleggers are not in the SCBL, nor were the High Toms, who they played on Wednesday, but a good start to the season sets the foundation, and obviously the Corndogs, once they head into conference play, each of those games becomes more important. You become more familiar with your opponent, so good to see that the Corndogs, from their fans' perspectives, are handling the same team on the second night of a back-to-back. Boothlet now 3-2, full count, and takes a big hack at that one. That one is far back, and it is going to be caught in the outfield. Lewis going to third. That is the third time today that Boothlet's hit the ball, absolutely smoked it. Just caught in the outfield once again, so 2 outs now. Boothlet does bring Lewis to third base, so another fly out there for Boothlet. And that brings up number 5, Nathan Sammy. Another pinch hitter for the Corndogs. Sammy, number 5, Middlebury College product, played his high school ball right here at Charlotte Ladin and got to start last night. And he hits one high. That one may be able to be caught along the foul line, and it isn't. It actually stays. That'll be foul. Hard to see from this perspective, but it was. So 0-1 count now against Sammy, who was 0-4 against Ray City last night. Did get walked, though, and only struck out once, so he was making good contact with the ball. Got a couple deep shots that just ended up getting caught. So for those of you who only pay attention to the box score, it might not look that pretty, but Sammy saw the ball pretty well last night. Now in for his first action tonight. And that one made Sammy have to play a little limbo right there, make it 1-1. Sammy now with the 1-1 count. Runner on third. Takes a big crack at that one, and it is fouled off once again. Sammy having to defend a plate right here. Greer throws it in, and Sammy gets it to the third baseman, shortstop, thrown out and unable to bring Dylan Lewis home. So that ends the inning right there. We'll head to the top of the 6th. Corndogs maintain a 13-4 lead here at the Friar for opening weekend. We'll be right back.
Waiting all the top of the sixth.
All
Number
right,
6, Eli
welcome back for
Sandgras.
the top of the 6th inning. We are back in action as number 6, Eli Sandgrass for the Bootleggers up to the plate. Down 13-4 are the Bootleggers, trying to find any sort of momentum as they head into the latter stages of this game. On the mound for the Corndogs, we've had a pitcher change again. Seth Edgerton has entered the game and throws his first strike of the game right there. Edgerton does have game action this year through 2 strikeouts and 1 inning pitched against the High Toms. Did allow the sole run of that game in the 3rd inning, even though it wasn't a allowed run, it was on an error, but he did base the man that scored said run. So Edgerton in his 2nd game of the 2023 campaign, seeing his first batter with Eli Sandgrass, now 2-2 count. Edgerton winds this one up, and that is a swing and a miss. A beautiful pitch right there from Edgerton. Gets his 3rd strikeout of the year.
Now batting for the Bootleggers.
32.
Number 33.
Pitcher from Harrisburg, North Carolina. A little ways away. No more than an hour with traffic, but makes his way to the Queen City now for some summer ball after redshirting and having his sophomore redshirt year at Belmont Abbey, where he plays college ball. Seeing his 2nd batter and Holloman, and that pitch is for ball 1. Holloman, the extra hitter tonight for the Bootleggers, number 33. Watches that one go inside, so a 2-0 count against Holloman. Edgerton, a big guy too. 6'4", 215 pounds of presence on the mound is Edgerton. And that's quick 3-0 count against Holloman. And that'll be ball 4, so a walk right here with 1 out sends Holloman to first base. Brings up number 34, Brandon Johnson, first baseman for the Bootleggers, to the plate. Corndogs trying to protect this 13-4 lead that they have amassed. 10 of the 13 came in the 1st inning, which was an absolutely eventful half inning, to say the least, as that pitch is in for strike 1. A nice pitch from Edgerton right there. Brandon Johnson at the plate now, working with the 0-1 count. And that'll go into the dirt for ball 2. One count now. Edgerton in his 2nd inning of action on the season, coming in a relief role once again. Was a big part of that committee that helped beat the High Toms. It was his inning that the 1 run was surrendered, but bear in mind, wasn't his doing. And that was a fantastic game for those of you who weren't able to tune in. We weren't covering that one, as it was more of an early season scrimmage, though. We are counting it towards the record, as Holloman gets back to first in time. And now in game 2 of 2 against the Bootleggers, Corndogs with their 2nd big lead in as many games. Edgerton trying to protect it, and that pitch is in there for a strike, so Edgerton on the verge of getting the 2nd out of the inning for the Corndogs and sending this thing to the bottom of the 6th. Johnson looking in and makes contact with that one, and it is stopped by Masri. Is he able to make the play? No, he is unable to. A valiant effort right there, but just too little too late for Masri on the throw. So now 2 runners on. That infield single has Edgerton in a bit of a difficult position here, bringing up number 20, Chase Brown.
Number 20, Chase Brown.
Chase Brown seeing his first at-bat of the night. That is an absolute heater from Edgerton right there. Strike 1, clocking in at over 80 miles per hour, 83 to be exact. Still only 1 out for Edgerton. The Corndogs to work with here, but 2 runners on as well. Brown sees that pitch in the ground, and a good play made behind the plate, excuse me. Edgerton looks back at Holloman at second base. And he's worried about Holloman with those 2 runners on base, first and second. Looks back once again, throws this one in, and low for ball 2, make it 2-1 now. Edgerton, not necessarily in a pickle, but has some work to do to get the Corndogs out of this inning. Loads this one up. High and thrown back, and Brandon Johnson had a little bit of a lead there and was lucky that the throw didn't come back in time. Got Peter Gullo, wasn't able to tag him in time, but close call right there. 3-1 count now for Edgerton. And Chase Brown takes a big swing right there. Full count. And a big moment right here for the Corndogs. An out right here would go a long way. And any non-out would go a long way for the Bootleggers, who are trying to inch their way back into this one. And that one is hit. Goes to the third baseman. And it's going to be a double play. No, Gullo was off the bag, so the runner will be thrown out at second. Now 2 on the corners. Still 1 out left to go for Edgerton and the Corndogs.
Now batting number 22, Nick Powell.
Play made right there by Harrison Wilson as he throws to Sander at second base. Just unable to get Brown at first, so now 2 outs for Nick Powell, number 22, who is back up to bat for the Bootleggers, the third baseman for Race City. Swings and misses at strike 1. Nice pitch right there from Edgerton. Bootleggers threatening with a runner on third. Brown on first. And Edgerton throws that one in, and another one swing and a miss. That one clocked in at 87 miles per hour. That one is an absolute heater from Edgerton, and now he has an 0-2 count with a chance to close things out here in the top of the 6th for the Corndogs. You can hear the Queen City dugout getting into it, trying to juice up Edgerton. He loads this one up, and it is just outside, just below the strike zone, actually. That one looked pretty good from this vantage point, but 1-2 count now. Powell trying to keep this half inning alive for the Bootleggers, and a swing and a miss. Edgerton gets out of the jam and brings us to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Corndogs keeping their 13-4 lead intact. We will return right after this timeout for that second half of the 6th inning. All right, ladies and gents, we are back for the bottom of the sixth inning between the Corndogs and the Bootleggers here from the Friar. 13-4 lead for Queen City. Looking to go 3-0 on the season. Up to bat is number 39, Will Samuelson. Goes to Tuscaloosa University, and that one is flown out. So Samuelson, in his first at-bat of the season, comes up just short. Given the Bootleggers their first out of the season, of the inning. Now Michael Royston back up to bat for the Corndogs, number 9. He hasn't got a hit yet today, so aiming to do that right now as he pops this one up into the outfield, and it's caught. So 2 quick outs here for the Bootleggers in the bottom of the 6th, just what the doctor ordered for this Race City squad.
Now batting, number 4, Caleb Singleton.
Caleb Singleton up to bat once again for the Corndogs. Bottom of the order for the lefty. Sees that pitch go outside. Greer still on the mound for the Bootleggers, getting a lot of work tonight. And for good reason. He's been the most successful of these Bootleggers pitchers in this game, and arguably in the past 2 games, as Queen City has now scored double-digit runs in back-to-back contests against this Race City squad. Singleton with back-to-back first base hits, so back-to-back singles for Singleton in his last 2 at-bats after getting walked. So 100% on base tonight for the 9-hole hitter, and can't ask for more from that, right? So that brings up a 2-1 count now after the pitch is outside once again. Singleton only went 1 of 3 last night, and turning that narrative around right now. That is a strike, so make it 2-2. Now Greer threatening to get the 3rd out in 30 at-bats for the Bootleggers and make quick work of this Corndogs bottom of the lineup. And is he able to do that? Yep, it looks like that fly is just going to go right to the shortstop, and that will bring up the 7th inning, in which after the Corndogs go 3 and out, and we will be right back for the start of the 7th inning here on opening weekend for the Queen City Corndogs. seventh inning action here from the Friar in the opening weekend for the Queen City Corndogs, out to a 13-4 lead over the Race City Bootleggers in game 2 of 2 versus this Race City squad. 11-1 win last night, and looking and likely at this rate to make it a second double-digit, or at least double-digit run effort against the Bootleggers. And a great pitch right there from the new pitcher in the game for the Corndogs, J.J. DeVos. DeVos started the last game on Wednesday against the High Point High Toms, in which he threw one strikeout but had two solid innings pitched to set the tone for a one-run allowed performance against a very talented team from the CPL in High Point. DeVos really set the tone with his performance. Back for his second action of the season and his third inning on the bump for the Corndogs. Now down in the count, 2-1 is DeVos, the 6'1", 200-pound product from Harrisburg, North Carolina, one of the other players on this team from Harrisburg, and one of the plethora of these players on this team from the general Charlotte area. As that pitch clocks in at 83 miles per hour, in for strike two. 2-2 count now for DeVos, who attended Hickory Ridge High School, which is one of the better baseball programs in the state. And when talking to Coach Pluta, the manager for the Corndogs, he said as DeVos throws another strikeout, his second of the season, he said that DeVos will 100% compete for spot starts, but primarily be a reliever, and a talented one at that, as seen on that first at-bat, which brings up number 17, Jake Porras, who had a double in his last time out at the plate. DeVos aims to shut that down. And another good hit by Porras, as it is going to be tracked down and caught in the outfield. That's by number 13, I believe, Luke Harris for the Corndogs. A great play. And two quick outs. This past inning and a half has flown by relative to the rest of the game. The ups and downs of collegiate summer baseball, I guess, as now Maddox Shoke is back up to the bat for Race City. DeVos on the mound. Hasn't had to throw a lot of pitches this inning. It already has those two outs, nobody on. And that one looks like it'll be a quick third out as it goes to Sander at second base. Gullo makes the catch at first. 3 up, 3 down for DeVos. Makes quick work of the side and brings us to the bottom of the 7th inning.
Garrett Center.
We're back for the bottom of the 7th inning here between the Corndogs and the Bootleggers. Top of the order coming up for Queen City with number 2, Garrett Sanner. New pitcher in the game for the Bootleggers after some solid work from Greer on the mound for this Race City squad. They bring in number 7, Dallas Allen, to go up against probably the hottest hitter for the Corndogs right now. So not dipping your toes into the water here. You're jumping fully into the pool as Sanner watches that one go just outside of the zone for ball 1. Allen winds this one up. And that one is high, so 2-0 count now against Sanner, who has been absolutely on fire for this Corndogs team. We've already mentioned the fact that he's had averages. That pitch drops into the zone, 2-1 on the off speed. Nice pitch there from Allen. The Lenore Rhine product, though, Sanner has been fantastic. Already has 3 singles tonight, can make it more right here, and is unable to do so. Goes 2-2 in the count. A little bit of a delay. Looks like sideline for the Bootleggers, trying to get some things situated here. As now a 2-2 count for Sanner to work with. Allen trying to get some momentum here in his first action on the bump tonight. And that one barely escapes. Sanner almost hit him. So now full count for the Sanner to work with. The Sun Valley High School product. Entering his sophomore year at Lenore Rhine, where he looks to make a big impact as yet another single for, oh, well, a great play nevertheless, but it could have been much worse. But still a single, the 4th of the night for Sanner, and that brings up Dave Mosry for his 5th at-bat.
Number 26, Dave Mosry.
That one goes over the head of the catcher and allows Sanner to work his way over to second base. So now 1 on second, no outs for Mosry to work with at the plate. Mosry on the night has been hit by a pitch, been walked, has a single, and gets hit by a pitch again there. So the second time on the evening that Mosry has been pinged by one, which brings up Tyler Cotto once again.
Stepping up to the plate for the Queen City Corndogs, designated hitter number 38, Tyler Cotto.
So with 2 on, Cotto, no outs. Number 38 for the Corndogs. Entered this game leading the team with RBIs. Can possibly bring in one more here with Sanner on second base if he's able to make some good contact as that pitch is into the dirt. 1-0 for Allen. Cotto was going to enter his senior year at Queens after a successful junior year. Originally started at Austin P, and Sanner is thrown out at second base trying to steal one from Allen and the Bootleggers, but no sir, says Allen, as a successful pickoff right there. Sanner unable to get to third base. Now the first out of the inning for the Corndogs. Mosry's on first base after getting hit with that pitch. And Cotto now 2-0 in the count. Fouls this one back. Cotto situating himself in the batter's box. Has the lone home run on the season for the Corndogs. Certainly brings the power whenever he steps into that left batter's box. And that's going to be an easy steal right there for Masri, who just chugs his way over to second base. Now a runner in scoring position again. Cotto, 3-1 on the count. Some room to work with here for the Arizona native, excuse me. And Allen throws that one in for strike two. Cotto already made his way already made a quarter of the way to first base, thinking he was getting walked right there, but the umpire had different plans, so now a full count for Cotto, who has reached base multiple times tonight, twice to be exact. Last time at bat, he hit a deep fly out that almost went out of play, and there we are. There is the walk that Cotto was looking for. So now he is on first, Masri on second, and now that brings up Luke Harris, number 13, to come in, and he'll get his first look of the evening. Harris saw some action last night and performed quite well in the start, as that one is inside for ball one. Harris from Edgemoor, South Carolina, attends Limestone, where he's majoring in physical education, and South Carolina kid. Big guy on the outfield, 6'3", 220, as Masri had Allen hesitate, looking back. 1-0 count still on Harris, and Harris last night saw the ball super well. It was walked 3 times and then had an RBI single as well. So a super successful night for the Limestone product. Fouls that one off. Harris, one of the lone outfielders for this Queen City team. Tons of pitchers on this roster, tons of infielders. But the catchers and the outfielders, limited room there. As that one goes by his belt line, Harris that is, and Allen now down 2-1 in the count against Harris. Looking to keep his walk streak going, as we mentioned, 3 walks last night. And on the verge of getting on base yet again, Allen throws that one way out of the zone, make it 3-1 now. Corndogs with only 1 out, threatening once again to blow this game open. If it's up a certain amount after the 7th inning, it might be the end of this contest, as it looks like that was another hit by pitch for Harris. So Harris will advance to first base, and now Peter Gullo, who flew out last time in his first at-bat of the game, is working with 1 out and bases loaded. A dangerous moment here for a mercy rule walk-off. Gallo can send the Corndogs and their fans home early again for the second time in 2 nights if he's able to bring 1 runner home. That one is inside for ball 1, as Allen winds up for pitch 2, and that one's a strike. That one for sure is a strike. Right down the middle of the path, Gullo opts not to take a hack at it, so 1-1 count now. Only 1 out for the Corndogs. Bases loaded. That one high, 2-1. And the game in the balance for the Corndogs. After 7, if you lead by double digits, they'll wrap this thing up early. And that one goes way behind, and that's going to bring a runner home. Trotting past home plate and stepping on the bag is number 26, Dave Masri. And that'll be, yep, that'll do it. That's going to be the walk-off stolen base for Masri. So it'll be 14-4. Final score here from the bottom of the 7th. The Corndogs send their fan base home early yet again and pick up their 3rd consecutive win to start the 2023 summer circuit. A fantastic outing by the Corndogs once again, looking to head into conference play and doing so successfully with a 3-game win streak. Lot to love if you're a Corndogs fan, and we will be right back here on Monday evening for the first conference game against the Mooresville Spinners and the Queen City Corndogs. So enjoy the day off tomorrow, and we'll be right back for a 3-game homestand on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as conference play begins. So tune in at 7:04, and we will hope that you have a lovely night here, and go Corndogs.